pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please.
Alexander?
Yes.
Henry?
Yes.
Cumin?
Yes.
Lentine?
Here.
Lewis?
Yes.
Morgan?
Yes.
O'Toole?
Motion to excuse Councilman O'Toole for personal illness.
Second.
Alexander?
Yes.
Henry?
Yes.
Cumin?
Yes.
Lentine?
Yes.
Lewis?
Yes.
Morgan? Yes.
Entertain a motion to accept the consent agenda.
Second.
Alexander?
Yes.
Henry?
Yes.
Cumin?
Yes.
Lentine?
Yes.
Lewis?
Yes.
Morgan?
Yes. No guest speakers. We do have guests today. This evening, we're going to swear in Fred Cash, and our state senator, Yuko, is going to swear him in. So at this time, you all can come forward, you two can come forward and perform that.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for making it today.
Thank you, Madam President, and Mayor, and members of council, and to our guests in the audience, and our distinguished leadership of Richmond Heights. If I can just say one thing, we had the honor and privilege of swearing in Fred Cash. Well, it seems like yesterday, Fred, and here it is, lo and behold, how many years later, we've gone from Governor Ted Strickland to Governor John Kasich, which often spells of gloom and doom if you're an appointee looking for a reappointment. But once in a while, you get a shining star that's so bright, you really have no choice but to continue the good work that they've done. I've had the opportunity not only to watch Fred on the Soil and Water Commission, but work with other groups as well, whether it be the Ohio Farm Bureau or virtually anybody else. He's no stranger to anybody. They all know him. They all respect him. And I think he's a tremendous, tremendous, tremendous shining star for all the residents of Richmond Heights, because we all know he's Fred Cash from Richmond Heights. I congratulate you on your reappointment, my friend, and I have the honor and the pleasure of swearing you in. So if you want to stand here and raise your right hand and repeat after me. I state your name.
I, Frederick Cash,
Promise to swear and support the Constitution of the United States
promise to swear and support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Ohio,
and the Constitution of the State of Ohio,
and to faithfully discharge the duties of the office
and to faithfully discharge the duties of the office
as a member of the Ohio Soil and Water Conservation Commission,
as a member of the Ohio Soil and Water Conservation Commission,
to which I have been appointed
to which I've been appointed
by Governor John R. Kasich
for Governor John R. Kasich
for the term designated.
for the term.
This I shall do
This I shall do
as I answer unto God.
as I answer.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
And then, Fred, if I may present you with recognition from the Ohio Senate, from your senator, in recognition of the hard work that you've done and the sense of pride that you have brought, not only to this body here, but to every resident of Richmond Heights. Congratulations and continue your best wishes.
Can I say a few words?
Oh, yes, please.
Well, first of all, I'm really shocked to receive this honor. It is with a lot of humility I have, because I'm working with such great people. Ken Yuko and Dave Roach and we were here many years ago. Dave was seeking council seat, and Ken was looking at step rep. And I was trying to get on the board of the Cuyahoga Soil and Water Conservation District. And we had our chat in the lobby, and we did present our credentials and what we wanted to do before council then. never did I know that this would be a day where the mayor would be Dave Roach and the senator, which repeated as...
We didn't know either.
We didn't. But, you know, we persevered, and I have to say, with respect to the working at the state level, it's been pretty complicated at times, but the purpose, it's a bipartisan commission that I sit on. And we debate some very complex issues. As you know, right now, we have an algae bloom in the western part of our state, and even water emergencies up there in Toledo area. And these are some of the issues that we address at the commission level. And I know, Ken, you with the Great Lakes Commission, which is
Correct.
another body that is trying to protect our water in this area and region. So I think you got a good voice. That is the residents here in Richmond Heights, for those who are really concerned about welfare and care of our residents here. So I'm going to keep on doing my thing, and the senator, I'm sure he will do that. And here we got the mayor that is helping us as well. But thank you very much. I really appreciate
Thank you for what
this.
you do.
Thank you. Yes, thank you both for serving. Thank you.
You know, I just want to point out, too, our Senate seat here actually goes from East Cleveland all the way up to Fairport Harbor and Painesville. So I don't know of any other senator, state rep, or anyone else who has more territory along the lake than what we have. So to have somebody like Fred working with us is really quite an honor. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you both. Thank you. We will caucus tonight on tonight's legislative agenda. Did I miss something? I did, didn't I? I missed reports. Okay, we're going to go to reports first. I'm looking at the committee of the whole stuff. Totally off. Thank you. So, we will start with you, Mayor. Do you have anything to report?
Madam President, I'll have a couple of things I'd like to report. We have held the very successful Community Conversations Roundtable event. We had 25 residents attending. Our department heads reported having great discussions at their tables. We had some great refreshments also, thanks to our administrative staff and Councilwoman Juanita Lewis, amongst others that had assisted there to make it successful. We are planning on picking a date for another community conversations during the first quarter of 2016, so shortly we'll announce that date. Also, other good news is in the historical designation for Greenwood Farm, we obtained the approval of the Ohio Historical Site Preservation Advisory Board of the historic places. With some minor adjustments to our application, we'll be moved forward to the National Registry for recognition. Our 17th annual Fall Craft Show also is being planned for Saturday, November the 7th, from 9 to 3 at our Kiwanis Lodge. Crafter applications are available online and at our recreation department. And the price of tables are $35 a table. And then hopefully we'll be putting together a great show there with some food and great crafting tables. And we'll have hopefully a good turnout from the area. That concludes my report, and we'd be happy to comment as we go along.
Thank you, Mayor. Chief Newman.
Thank you, Council President Henry, Mayor Roche, members of council, and members of the community. I have a couple of things to report this evening. I do have some up-to-date statistics from the Division of Fire. Our total calls for service so far as of September 30th in Division of Fire, we've had 1,379 calls for service. We're down 5.7% compared to the same reporting period in 2014. We've had 1,103 EMS calls, which is 80% of our total calls, and 276 fire service calls, which include 19 structure fires. Fire service calls is where our calls for service are down. We're actually down 21% in our fire service calls. Our EMS calls are actually flat, so we're even on EMS calls. Simultaneous calls, those are calls that happen at the same time. They occur about 14% of the time. We've had 192 of those events. And under the category of mutual aid, we've received mutual aid 28% from our neighboring community, or 28 times from our neighboring communities. And we've provided mutual aid 69 times from our neighboring communities. So we're up. We actually provided mutual aid 52 times in 2014. EMS billing, we've billed out $475,000 so far this year. That's a little bit of a decrease of about 1.4% or $7,000 over the same reporting period in 2014. Revenues for EMS transports are at $245,000. That's a decrease of 7.4% over the same reporting period in 2014. We were at $265,000 this time last year. Our collection rate for EMS billing is at 52%. We were at 55% last year. Our supplemental staffing expenses, our year-to-date expenses for overtime is at $82,189. That's for 2,099 hours. That's flat compared to the same reporting period in 2014. And our total year-to-date supplemental staffing cost, that's overtime and part-time, is at $91,480. In fiscal year 14, we were at $106,620, so we're actually $15,339 less than we were last year, so that's 14% decrease. We gave a CPR course on Monday, October 5th at the fire station. 9 citizens participated and were certified in CPR. The next class will be held in December, actually on December 7th, which is a Monday. Class size is limited to 12 students per class. These classes are free to residents of Richmond Heights. Anyone who's interested can call me at 216-383-6304, and I will get you on the roster. Fire Prevention Week was October 4th through the 10th, and the firefighters were very busy. The campaign was Hear the Beep Where You Sleep, by installing smoke alarms in every bedroom, outside each separate sleeping area, on every level of the home, including the basement. Unfortunately, on Sunday, October 4th, Fire Prevention Week began in Richmond Heights with a house fire at 418 Stephen Boulevard. At 10:17 p.m., firefighters responded when 911 operators were notified about a strong smoke odor with smoke detectors sounding. So somebody heard the beep where they slept, which is good. So that was a good way to kick it off. On arrival, firefighters found flames showing in the back of a home with dark smoke coming from the eaves and began an aggressive attack of the fire. The fire was knocked down within 20 minutes from arriving on the scene. All occupants had self-evacuated. There were no injuries to the occupants and firefighters or pets. Firefighters from Richmond Heights, Highland Heights, Lyndhurst, South Euclid, and Mayfield Village worked together to extinguish the fire. We estimate less than 10% of the interior was involved, with most of the damage involving the exterior patio of the structure. The cause and origin of the fire is still under investigation. Richmond Heights firefighters remained on the scene throughout the night. So that's how we kicked off Fire Prevention Week, but an active smoke detector was in the house, which helped in the evacuation of the residents. This week, as we discussed at a previous meeting, Division of Fire received a grant for new cardiac monitor defibrillators, and this week we actually received the defibrillator monitors, and we were awarded awarded a $71,000 assistance to firefighter grant from the U.S. Department of Homeland Security, which provided 95% funding, or $67,620, to purchase 2 LifePak 15 cardiac monitors, as well as a mechanical CPR device called a Lucas. The new life-saving equipment will be placed into service in the city's 2 rescue squads in the 3rd week of October. So we've received the equipment, and now the firefighters are being trained. These devices are the primary tools used by paramedics on nearly all of their medical and trauma calls. Paramedics typically use these units to take blood pressures and monitor heart rates. However, the primary function is to assist paramedics in determining the life-threatening cardiac and respiratory problems. So it's exciting that we have this new equipment, and it's all thanks to the grant funds that we received earlier this year. That concludes my report for this evening, and if there are any questions, I'd be happy to answer.
Thank you very much. Building Commissioner Phil Sebo.
Thank you, Madam President, Mayor Roach, and members of council and citizens. I have a relatively brief report tonight. I wanted to report on some statistics from the building department that I haven't really reported on recently. The first statistic that I would like to bring to light is that largely through the hard work and persistence of my administrative assistant, Patty, we have reached 100% participation in our business occupancy fees this year. Every single business in the city has in fact paid their fees for the year. In this coming year, we're going to we're going to go one step further at the request of the mayor. We're going to investigate home-based businesses which qualify as businesses under our business occupancy fee, and what they are is a home business that has employees that are non-residents. So if a home business such as say a landscape business which is owned by the owner of the property, but that has 3 or 4 employees from outside that property that report to work there every morning, that business would qualify as for a business occupancy fee. So we're going to try to update our database over the next few months and include those businesses next year. I don't anticipate that there are going to be more than a dozen of them, more or less, but we will search that out during the year. We've given out about 565 permits so far this year for a value of construction just shy of $10 million, $9,940,000 in construction value. So I thought that was an interesting statistic. And receivables to date in 2015 reached $138,800, and that was like $2,000 different from the same period in 2014. So we're virtually on the same level of activity as we were at this time last year. So as I've reported to you in the past, one of the statistics that I am most proud of this year is that we've concentrated a large portion of our time on the major apartments in town and the restoration of their life safety features. We've completed at least the initial phases of our inspections on all of our major apartments so far, which are Dorchester, Loganberry, Richmond Park, and Marcella. And we're now moving into what you might consider the second stages, which are more advanced life safety features, such as alarm systems and sprinkler systems. So we're going to be concentrating on that for the rest of the year, as we did most of the summer. And that's the extent of my report for this evening. So I'll be happy to take questions also.
Mr. Linting?
Do I understand right then, Phil, that daycare centers, if they're operated by the resident, they would not fall under the occupancy permit that the city requires?
That's right. There are actually three types of daycare centers. The simplest type of daycare center is called a Type B daycare home, and that has 5 children in it, including the children of the operator. And those homes, and there's many of them around, are regulated by the state and can go virtually anywhere, and usually only take one person, which is the operator, to function. The next step up is a Type A daycare home, and a Type A daycare home includes 6 children up to 12 children, and that's when the daycare operator normally requires outside help. Sometimes the outside help are family members, such as grown sons or daughters, but most often the help starts becoming outside help at that stage, and that's still a residential use. And then the final stage, of which we have several around town, are called daycare centers, and they go from 13 children up to whatever number. They're usually held in churches. There's one in a building near the intersection of Richmond and Chardon Roads. They're larger institutions and have many workers, and they're not residential uses, so they're already regulated as businesses. So the ones that we'll be searching out that we don't already know about would be the Type A homes, which are residential in-home uses, but that normally have enough children to require outside help.
How about transportation? How about somebody that's bringing these young people to and from the location? Is that considered a deal breaker as far as we're concerned as a business?
One of the requirements for a business in the home is to not have details such as parking or drop-off or whatever that interrupt the residential use of the property. So I would say that in cases where we actually have an approval process, I would say that the drop-off and the parking would in fact be taken into consideration.
Thank you.
Thank you. Finance Director Mitch McKaylee. I'm sorry, Mr. Seabolt, were you done? Were you complete?
I'm done, thank you.
All right, I want to make sure that, I just sort of took it from you, I'm sorry, after all the questions, I thought you were done. I assumed. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam President, Mayor Roach, members of council, and guests. Just a couple items tonight. I did want to update you on what we're doing with the payroll position. We are still in the process of interviewing candidates. We have not identified a candidate as of yet, but we continue our search and hope to have that filled fairly quickly. The other item, which is rather you're all basically aware of, is the fact that the Attorney General's office this year had gone after the 2 major salt suppliers in the state, Cargill and Morton, and basically they had initiated litigation against them, charging that they conspired to fix pricing over the period, I believe it was 2011 and 2012. The state reached an $11.5 million settlement with the 2 companies, and earlier this summer they had any of the state entities and municipalities who had purchased salt through contract with these 2 companies to basically report what their tonnage was for this period and how much they spent over that period of time. I received a letter from the Attorney General's office and a check. Basically, they said that the intention was to return a significant portion of the money to local agencies and governments who buy rock salt. There were claims from over 850 Ohio public entities, including the claim from the city of Richmond Heights. Basically, the check that we received was the princely sum of $6,822.28. But
it's nice to know that, we were able to get something back from that. And basically, the letter that I received closes with, "I know that you and others like you stretch public funds and taxpayer dollars as far as possible to benefit your constituents. I hope this share of the rock salt settlement fund helps you make your roads safer for the citizens that depend on you. Be assured that my office will continue to investigate and take action to ensure a competitive marketplace and to safeguard taxpayer dollars. Very respectfully, yours, Mike DeWine, Ohio Attorney General." So we did receive that check last week, and that's all I have
That's
to
great.
report tonight, unless there are any questions.
No, but thank you. Good news. Any questions from you? Okay. So then we will move on to City Engineer Lee Courtney.
Yes, Madam President, good news, Trubisky Road, Trubisky Hunt subdivision, every day, homes filed and signed an agreement, and that enabled the regrading work, the adding of topsoil start this week. If the weather cooperates, they may be able to finish the large common areas this week, but right now, the weather doesn't seem to be giving it. On the road work, the Richmond Road joint repair started Saturday and continued yesterday and today, and we should be back tomorrow to keep working. We're working on northbound lanes right now. The striping of both Monticello and Wilson Roads is
Thank you. Economic Development Director Crystal Best.
Thank you, Madam President, Mayor, members of council, guests. I have three things this evening. I have some good news regarding the Chardon Road gas station. As some of you may have noticed, that we have a sign up from the Ohio EPA and Cuyahoga County stating that this is a joint project to demolish the building and eradicate its brownfield condition. And the fact that that sign went up means that we are publicly moving forward with the demolition, and as a part of that, we now have on file at the Cuyahoga County Department of Development the analysis of brownfield cleanup activities. So any member of the community or the council can go and take a look at what Partners Environmental has planned for the cleanup and make any comments until October the 23rd. After October 23rd, we will compile whatever comments, if there are any, and also get any comments from the Ohio EPA's technical assistance person, and with those comments, proceed with getting the contractor out to demolish the building and clean up the site. So those are two huge steps that have taken place in the last 2 weeks. Secondly, I wanted to report that we received a call from Berkshire Hathaway, Jim Bauer, saying that there is an interest in the Carl Road property. Someone, a developer, wants to look at it, and hopefully that will be the first one of these properties that the city owns that we will be able to sell. And I encourage anyone to give me a call, and if you're interested in any city-owned properties that are on the list for sale, we are working with Berkshire Hathaway to get those properties sold and bring in some money for other city projects. So that's another good piece of news, and I will keep you posted on those property sales. Finally, I'm asking for some help in putting together our storefront renovation grant application with the county. Our grant application for storefront dollars is due December 7th, and the city of Richmond is eligible for up to $50,000 in storefront renovation money, provided, however, they changed it a little bit, provided, however, that we have 3 different storefronts that are interested in providing matching dollars for the $50,000 that's available. So if you think about it, we would need 3 different property owners who are interested in making improvements to their storefront. It's a matching grant, so if an owner wanted to get $10,000 in storefront renovation money, they would have to be willing to put in $10,000 of their own money. The other part is that these dollars have to be, the wages that have to be paid are Davis Bacon, which is, it's affordable wages plus benefits, so it can be a little bit more expensive. If you know of anyone in your ward that might be interested in doing a storefront renovation project, please let me know, because we have to have at least 3, and I've reached out to some businesses, and they're not, some of them are not interested because of the matching requirement and the Davis Bacon requirement, but it can be a very good deal. But I would need 3 in order to go forward with the grant application for storefront renovation money. If you have questions, please feel free to see me. I can explain in more detail. And that's the end of my report.
I have a brief question, Madam Chair.
Yes, thank you.
Wouldn't it behoove us as a city to possibly contact our property owners, the shopping centers? I'm sure the building department knows who those people are, and just basically give them a letter of what you just told us, and perhaps that will make them aware that this might be the time for them to do some improvements to their properties.
Yeah, that's what I was doing. I started out by making phone calls, but a letter may be actually a better way of going about doing that, and I can get a letter out, get the names of the storefronts and get a letter out. The response has been that they are interested, but the matching part is the tough sell, and the wage requirement is the tough sell. But like I said, it can be a good opportunity for the right business to get 10.
I would think Hilltop Plaza would be eager to do that. They're already doing it.
Yeah, that's a good point. I don't know if the fact that they're in receivership has an impact, but I'll certainly look into it.
Thank you.
Interesting. Thank you. Any more to report? Any questions? I assume not. Just pass it away. All right, audience. Do I have any comments or questions from the audience? All right. Did I hear something? Okay. All right, then we'll move on to old business, and we have none. So we'll go to new business.
Ordinance number 90, 2015, introduced by Mayor Roach, first reading. An ordinance adopting new Chapter 184 of the Codified Ordinances of the City of Richmond Heights and declaring an emergency.
Oh, Mayor, do you have a comment?
Yes, this is a new ordinance that is being proposed to cover the changes that the Ohio State legislation has put upon us, and so we did have some sample ordinances to go by, and I believe we were planning to review this in detail in committee next week. So I'd recommend to leave this on first reading.
Yes, we're going to leave this in the first reading. We would agree. Resolution 91, 2015. I'm sorry. That's you.
Introduced by O'Toole, first reading. A resolution authorizing the mayor to enter into an agreement with BHH Affiliates LLC DBA Berkshire Hathaway Home Services Professional Realty for real estate service, sales services and listings for selected city-owned properties.
Mr. O'Toole is absent. Excuse.
I'd be glad to comment on it. These are two additional properties that we wanted to sell. These are two that are non-producing properties, and one is a home and one is a vacant lot. And this is along with two others that we did several weeks ago. so I'd recommend.
Move to suspend the rules?
Second.
Alexander?
Yes.
Henry?
Yes.
Cuman?
Yes.
Lentine?
Yes.
Lewis?
Yes.
Morgan?
Yes. Move for passage.
Second.
Alexander?
Yes.
Henry?
Yes.
Cuman?
Yes.
Lentine?
Yes.
Lewis?
Yes.
Morgan?
Yes. Resolution 91, 2015 passes unanimously.
Ordinance number 92, 2015, introduced by O'Toole, first reading. An ordinance to make appropriations for current expenses and other expenditures of the City of Richmond Heights, State of Ohio, during the fiscal year ending December 31st, 2015, to amend ordinance number 16, 2015, and 80, 2015, and declaring an emergency.
Mayor, are you going to leave this with Mitch to comment?
I can comment on it. These are adjustments to the appropriations to bring our funds balances more in balance. Some of the expenditures, I think one of them that we had talked about in committee was the State Highway Fund 2002, adding $4,000. This was primarily as a result of one of the failures of our traffic controller on Richmond Road. So I'd recommend passage.
Move for suspension.
Second.
Alexander?
Yes.
Henry?
Yes.
Cuman?
Yes.
Lentine?
Yes.
Lewis?
Yes.
Morgan?
Yes. Resolution, no, ordinance.
Move for
No.
passage.
Oh, we didn't do that. I need to go home.
Move for passage.
Alexander?
Yes.
Henry?
Yes.
Cuman?
Yes.
Lentine?
Yes.
Lewis?
Yes.
Morgan?
Yes. Okay, ordinance 92, 2015 passes unanimously.
Resolution 93, introduced by Mayor Roach, first reading. A resolution authorizing an agreement with LAMP BBM LLC for the use of Greenwood Farm for certain days from October through December 2015 and declaring an emergency.
Mayor, you have comment?
Yes, this is a resolution that would give me authorization to complete an agreement with the filming company that's planning to do some filming at Greenwood Farm. I would recommend its passage.
Move for suspension.
Second.
Alexander?
Yes.
Henry?
Yes.
Cuman?
Yes.
Lentine?
Yes.
Lewis?
Yes.
Morgan?
Yes.
Move for passage.
Second the motion.
Alexander?
Yes.
Henry?
Yes.
Cuman?
Yes.
Lentine?
Yes.
Lewis?
Yes.
Morgan?
Yes. Resolution 93, 2015 passes unanimously.
That's it.
Okay, we have correspondence.
There's a letter from residents Nancy and Dennis Motz on Claymore, 340 Claymore. This was September 28th, 2015. It says, wow, just a little comment about our tree lawn situation. This was for Frank Lentine in the city of Richmond Heights, by the way. Just a comment about our tree lawn situation with you, and there came immediate action. Hole was filled, topsoil and grass seed laid, hay on top. We are impressed with your influence and how our eyesore disappeared and was made right by our service department and you. Thank you so much. Nancy and Dennis.
Madam Chairman, the influence is knowing you folks up here, the mayor and all of council and our building department and our service department. This was a private resident that had a fire hydrant repaired last winter. They didn't have the opportunity because of the weather to come back to fix the tree lawn. This tree lawn was really looked like a small bomb went off. But they were having trouble getting it repaired. When it was brought to my attention, I asked the mayor and our service department to look into it, along with the fire department. The fire department was kind enough to go out there and take some pictures. So it was a group effort by all of us. I know we get a lot of bad publicity at times for some of the things that we do, but this is a good thing, and I thought I'd share it with everybody. I want to thank everyone. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Also, tomorrow is Richmond Heights Schools Open House. I like to remind the public and people at this meeting.
It's Thursday.
I keep saying tomorrow. For some reason, it's Thursday. I think that's enough for me.
Motion to adjourn.
Yes. Meeting adjourned.
I got another.